Today, the topic is this: the smallest shift that changes every conversation. Very subtle. Now, most people don't realize how little small shifts in communication can completely change the outcome of a conversation. Not by talking more, not by being pushy, but by tweaking just a few words. And let me prove it. So we'll call this a dead-end scenario, all right? I want you to imagine you're on a sales call and the prospect says, hey, I'm not really interested in this right now. Of course, the average salesperson responds with, okay, I understand. Let me know if things change. I'll follow up in a few months. And of course, the conversation dies. But the great sales rep, little subtle change, keeps the conversation alive by saying, no problem, Joe. Hey, just out of curiosity, what are your biggest priorities right now? Suddenly, that door is still a little bit open. All right, maybe another scenario. Salespeople hear it all the time. It's that old price objection. Maybe the prospect says, yeah, you're just too expensive. Typical sales rep says, well, why don't I get with my manager and we'll work on that price? Weak. Now you're negotiating against yourself. But the pro instead will say, subtle change. Compared to what? Now they reveal what they're actually thinking, right? So do they mean too expensive compared to the competitors? Maybe it's too expensive for their budget. Maybe it's too expensive because they don't see the value. Who knows? You don't know until you ask. And that single little shift in wording gives you the real answer behind the objection. So why does this work? Well, let's think about conversations outside of sales. The same principles apply. Now, maybe you're with your spouse in the kitchen and the spouse says to you, hey, hon, I don't think this is a good idea. Of course, you know what the wrong response to that will be. Well, you're wrong. You know that's leading to an argument. So what would be a better response to your hun? Hun, I hear you. So what part of it isn't sitting right with you? Now you're kind of working together. Or let's take the boss scenario. Hey, maybe the boss says to you, hey, I don't think you're heading in the right direction, bud. What would be the wrong response? Well, but I've already put in all this work. You get defensive, you get emotional. Let's make subtle tweaks. Better response. Interesting. So what would I need to change for this to work? See, now it's a discussion. It's not rejection. You see, words don't just carry meaning. They direct the outcome of the conversation. So here's your challenge. Before your next conversation today, I want you to pause. And instead of defending, I want you to get curious. Instead of accepting rejection, I want you to redirect that discussion. Instead of reacting, guide the conversation, because one small shift in those words can create massive shifts in results. All right, hope you enjoyed this tip. We'll see you next week.